and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blind.
Thank you for tuning in to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Tony and I'm here with Matt. We invite you to listen to our broadcasts both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. Matt, would you like to start us off this morning?
Can I have a braille device? I think I've maybe gotten it figured out reading better, but we'll see. From the Springfield Daily Citizen, where to pick berries this season. Springfield, Ozarks, Nixon, Republic, Rogersville stuff. By Jason Burns and his wife, I think tomorrow. We got 22,000 strawberries from plants in rural Christian County last year with next to no previous agricultural experience. The expansive berry patch is yielding such a generous harvest that the couple will soon employ staff to sell the produce at local farmers markets. Bruce Berry, current picking record holder, 2 hours to visit and haul away 65 pounds of strawberries, according to Jason. The man wanted to know how the farm achieved its crop. I looked at my watch and said, well, I started this on October 1st. I have no idea what the hell we're doing, Jason said. We're being blessed. I think it's 100 years of cow manure and the good Lord taking care of us. The berry business is resource and labor intensive, though it can be unpredictable. A couple industry newcomers at the mercy of weather opened their Christian County farm to the public in April when the strawberry season came early. At the same time, blueberry crops in the area have been hit hard by 2 consecutive years of drought, forcing one popular Cape farm to close. Reading about the 2026 berry season and find a list of local, I assume it's K-pick destinations, below. What to know before you go. Berry season is sweet but short-lived. Strawberry season starts in April this year and will peter out in May or June. Blackberries and blueberries have their heyday between June and July. Remember to check social media or call ahead before you visit. Berry farms must close to allow fruit to ripen. Most farms offer both K-pick and pre-pick fruit, although some businesses may ask visitors to reserve pre-picked produce ahead of time. Burns Farm. Okay. I think that's it for that one, I think. Pretty close, I think, on Tony again.
All right. Well, Springfield is planning a controlled burn for today, May 8th, and road closures are expected. This article from Janice Reeser at the Springfield News-Leader says the city of Springfield is scheduled to conduct a controlled burn May 8th at the Yard Waste Recycling Center at 3790 South Farm Road 119 in Brookline to dispose of debris from last year's storms, according to a community announcement from the Springfield Fire Department. The burn is expected to begin in the morning and could last several hours or days, depending on weather conditions. The Springfield Fire Department is leading the operation, coordinating with other agencies to ensure safety. Smoke from the burn may be visible in nearby neighborhoods, and temporary road closures are planned. Inman Road / Farm Road 164 and Hutchison Avenue / Farm Road 119 will close east of Hazeltine Road / Farm Road 115. Roundtree Road will close west of West Bypass. Farm Road 123 will close to non-local traffic between Roundtree Road and Republic Road. And the Wilsons Creek Greenway Trail will close between Taos Trailhead and Farm Road 123 / Roundtree Road. The Yard Waste Recycling Center will be closed May 8th and May 9th and is expected to reopen May 12th if conditions allow. The city is working with partner agencies and nearby facilities to minimize impacts, including utilities and neighboring operations. The controlled burn was chosen after evaluating alternatives and considering environmental regulations and operational safety. Residents can monitor official city communication channels for updates on Facebook at facebook.com/SGF Environmental Services. And in other fire department related news, Zoe McIntyre says that a man has died after sinking into a Clever grain silo. A 59-year-old employee at Gordon's Feed and Pet in Clever at 317 Clark Avenue died Thursday afternoon, May 7th, after becoming trapped in a grain bin. Authorities have not yet released the man's name. Clever Police Chief Randy Blackburn said the man climbed into the silo to fix an auger that had jammed, but, quote, got a little too far away from the edge and began to sink. Another employee called for help at about noon, and a Clever police officer was on the scene within moments, Blackburn said. The man was submerged to about his chest in grain, but was able to hold a conversation. What I've seen and experienced, it's like quicksand, Blackburn said. The more you move, you just keep getting pulled and pulled and pulled down. 10 fire protection districts responded to the scene, while the Republic Police Department deployed a drone above the silo to monitor the rescue attempt. The police chief estimated that it took firemen over an hour to pull the man from the silo, by which time he was unconscious. Blackburn said the man was pronounced dead at the scene. I don't see any foul play or anything like that. Initially, I think it's an accident, he said. The Clever Police Department will complete an investigation. Matt?
For the Springfield Daily Citizen, if you need some dogs for rescue, you can, here's a story about that. Beagles from Wisconsin Research Facility arrive at Rescue 1. The white van carrying 10 beagles arrived at Rescue 1 just after 7 p.m. Wednesday. The anticipated arrival was part of the nationwide effort to find homes for about 1,500 beagles recently released from Farm. a Wisconsin facility that breeds beagles for biomedical research. They're here, someone called out with excitement. Waiting for the beagles was a small crowd of Rescue 1 staff and volunteers, as well as 10 foster families who signed up to take in a dog until it finds a forever home. I'm very excited, said Rena Ripple, or something like that, who was approved to foster a beagle. It means the world. It means the world to the dog. It's rewarding for me too. Though this would be her first dog from a rescue facility, Redmond said she's fostered dogs from puppy mills and dog pounds in the past. They are special, and they take care, and they take a little more patience, she said. I have a Shih Tzu that I adopted many years ago from a dog pound in another state. It probably took me 6 months to be able to pick him up without him biting me, but it's wonderful now. Beagles are often used for research because of their docile and forgiving nature. The beagles from Redwood Farms have been handled by humans quite a bit, and based on feedback from other rescue groups who've received some, are quite friendly, explained Ellen Dowdy, president of Rescue One's board of directors. Redland Farms and the Beagles have made national headlines in recent weeks as animal rights activists tried to on separate occasions to steal beagles from the facility. According to the New York Times, activists tried in April to take more beagles from the facility, but were thwarted by the police and private security guards who fired tear gas and rubber bullets on an estimated 1,000 protesters, witnesses said. Dozens of people were arrested, activists said. A special prosecutor found that agents performed procedures on the beagles that constituted animal mistreatment. The company has denied abusing animals, according to the New York Times. Big Dog Ranch Rescue in West Palm Beach, Florida, bought 1,000 other dogs and has been working to find homes for them. Rescue One, the Springfield-based animal rescue organization, has partnered with Big Dog Ranch Rescue in the past. We partnered with them multiple times over the years because they've got a capacity to come in and empty out these puppy mills in Seymour or anywhere elsewhere. That said, we facilitated that, doing things to help legitimize, and then they either bus them back to Florida or fly them back to Florida. Though Rescue One is pretty much at capacity as far as being able to take in more animals, Rescue One's development director, Rebecca Redwing, I believe, said they felt confident this community would be eager to help the beagles. Not only have foster families stepped up, Redwing said that there's been a lot of interest in adopting a beagle. We've had multiple people already put in applications. She said, I looked through the computer and it was just beagle, 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 beagle. There are probably 50 beagle apps. After they arrived at Wednesday evening, staff placed the 10 crates inside Rescue One's fenced-in yard, where the foster families were scattered and opened the cage doors. The beagles were then allowed to explore the yard and meet the humans at their own pace. The hope was that some of the dogs would choose, quote unquote, their foster families. However, after nearly 30 minutes, it was clear that although the beagles were friendly and not afraid of, mostly, they were not going to attach themselves to any particular fosters. Instead, staff had to match the dogs with their foster families. Cindy Shook, who lives just south of Branson, was among those approved to foster a beagle. Shook said she's been wanting to give back and appreciates the work Rescue One does. We've read about them for many years and donated. This is actually our first time to foster with Rescue One, she said, adding that she's fostered dogs from other organizations in the past and described herself as a foster fail, I guess, meaning she always ends up adopting the dog herself. Shook already has 2 dogs at home and recently lost their third, Shyla, who died a few weeks ago. We feel that we feel like 2 dogs is not very much for us, she said, grinning. We're happy to welcome somebody else into our home. Of the 10 beagles, now part of the Rescue One family, 9 are females and 1 is a male. They will be fully vetted and appear to weigh anywhere between 15 and 25 pounds. Learn more about Rescue One, the beagles, and other animals looking for homes or foster families at rescue1springfield.com or on Facebook and Instagram. I think that is it for that article. On to Tony again.
All right, and if you are a dog lover, tomorrow, May 9th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., downtown Springfield, there's an event presented by Tame Pet Mag, Southwest Missouri. We have Downtown Dog Day. Enjoy the day with your furry best friends, pet-loving businesses, demonstrations, performances, adoptable dogs. Maybe some of those beagles will be there, who knows? Food, music, and fun. Don't miss the return of the Poskers. And special celebration of Dog Moms Day. You can find more information about that at www.downtowndogday.com. And for other things to do this week in Springfield, Missouri, Taryn Shore McKee from 417 Magazine says, if your house or vehicle took a beating from last week's hailstorms, you're definitely not alone. Between shattered windshields, battered roofs, and siding that suddenly looks very textured, it was a rough week for a lot of folks across the Ozarks, including us. Our house caught some damage, and the hood of my husband's truck lost a battle to the hail too. Hoping and praying everyone gets repairs sorted out quickly. On a much lighter note, Mother's Day weekend is here. You'll find this week's calendar full of brunches, perfume-making workshops, and even a Mamma Mia movie party. Longtime local traditions are back too, including the annual Roundtree Historic Homes Tour. Beyond Mom's Day, the week also dishes up a taco fundraiser, guided kayaking on the Finley River, a tequila mixology night, a Gen X comedy tour, and Bug Bash, the beloved crawfish-filled Rite of Spring. And in the middle of all of this, the school year is winding down too. Parents or not, May always feels like a sprint to the finish line. It's not just me, right? So consider this a reminder to carve out at least one fun thing for yourself this week. Let's see, Wednesday has already passed. So beginning with Thursday, May 8th, Gen X The Takeover Comedy Tour. Oh, excuse me, today is Friday.
Yep, that's happened too.
Pardon me, we've already passed that too. Let's start with Saturday, May 9th with the Roundtree Historic Homes Tour in Roundtree neighborhood. Those tickets are $15 in advance, $20 day of. That event is from noon to 5. Tour 5 stunningly restored historic homes in one of Springfield's most sought-after neighborhoods. In addition to admiring the houses and neighborhood, each home will host live music and local vendors. Shuttle service is included. We also have Kayaking the Finley at Finley Farms. That's for ages 12 plus and costs $55. That will take place from 11:45 a.m. to 1 p.m. Ideal for beginner paddlers, Wonders of Wildlife guides will go over basics including river safety, paddling techniques, and balance. Then you'll have time to explore the river on your own. Everything's included, just show up. Tickets include one drink. The 5th annual Bug Bash, also on Saturday, May 9th at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds. That is $28 or $12 for kids under 15. Takes place from 2 to 6 p.m. Come out and sample crawfish, gumbo, alligator, frog legs, boudin, and other Cajun specialties from 25 teams. There will also be live music and a variety of vendors to browse. Tickets include all samples. Cinderella at Hammond's Hall for the Performing Arts. Tickets are $54 to $79. That takes place at 7:30 p.m. Immerse yourself in beautiful music and a classic fairy tale as Springfield Symphony Orchestra performs music from Sergei Prokofiev's ballet Cinderella. Making the show extra special, dancers from St. Louis Ballet will also take the stage. Then Sunday, May 10th on Mother's Day, we have Moms and Mimosas at Wire Road Brewing from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can treat mom to a low-key afternoon sip and shop, enjoy mimosa flight specials, grab lunch from 2 food trucks, listen to live music and shop local vendors with everything from plants to boutique clothing and baked goodies. There's also a Mamma Mia movie party at Alamo Draft House. Those tickets are $16 and that happens at 2:50 p.m. This movie screening promises to be unlike any you've ever been to. On your way in, grab props including Dancing Queen sashes, then settle in and prepare to belt out the movie songs while making crafts in your seat. Children aged 6 and up are welcome. Finally, on Tuesday, May 12th, we have a couple events. We have Mixology 101 Artisanal Tequila. That's at Finley Farms. That is a 21 plus event and costs $100. There are 2 sessions from 5:30 to 7 p.m. or 8 to 9 p.m. You can enjoy a 4-course Mexican dinner with perfectly paired tequila tastings and cocktails, including a classic Paloma and margarita. You'll also learn all about tequila history, craftsmanship, and technique. And finally, the Rock Orchestra by Candlelight at Hammond's Hall. The tickets are $55 to $100. That takes place at 8 p.m. For this unique event, the music is all rock and metal, but the setting is sparkling candlelight and concert lighting. It comes to life thanks to musicians who bring their classical chops to recognizable songs from Metallica, AC/DC, the Rolling Stones, and more. Matt.
Cool. It's cool stuff going on. Springfield Daily Citizen, a lower enrollment projections behind decision to not increase MSU employee pay, concerns about incoming enrollment and further confirmation of no additional state funding are behind a decision to not give Missouri State University employee pay raises in the next school year, but if enrollment comes in better than expected, the Board of Governors may be asked to reconsider the decision. The university's Board of Governors heard updates about MSU's financial situation Thursday, May 7th, so yesterday, during its regular meeting and committee meetings. Morse, Vice President of Administration and Finance, spoke to the board members during a meeting of the board's Finance and Facilities Committee about the operations side of next year's budget. Morse updated the board about a number of increased costs the university will have for the 2026-27 school year. The board is expected to consider the budget for approval during its June meeting. The fiscal year begins on July 1st. During the meeting, Morse said that in satisfaction survey, employees continually note salaries as one of the highest sources of frustration. Faculty and staff leaders have, however, been involved in the salary discussions in advance of the budget. I would also tell you that I feel like our people understand that if you have if you present the data and they see where enrollment is, and if you see the state is not giving us additional appropriations, we have good people and they understand what we are up against. Morris said, "I can't do a Pollyanna answer for everyone's everyone's so excited they understand," or something like that. Mike Foster, chair of the university's faculty senate, agreed with Moore's assessment. He said that in previous discussions with administrators, senate members said they could deal with the lack of raises as long as it applied to every employee. So long as everyone is included in not getting raises or increases, then we won't like it, but we will understand, Foster said. The Daily Citizen reached out to Phil Bridges, chair of the university's staff senate, and will update this report if a reply is received. While regular raises apply across the board, contracts with high-level administrators such as the president and the athletic director allow for performance-based increases. MSU is one of the region's largest employers with a staff of more than 3,700 people. While across-the-board increases are not in the cards, the budget does offer additional spending for increased salaries and benefits tied to promotions. Enrollment accounts for the largest portion of revenue that MSU uses to pay its bills, about 59%. Don Medley, Vice President of Enrollment, told the board during an update that so far MSU has not felt the effects of the income enrollment cliff, a demographic reduction in the number of college-age students that is set to hit this year. The university is not seeing the same types of drops that other universities are seeing, she reported. She credits strong branding, community ties, and a tendency for students to stay closer to home when economic situations worsen. Medley reported that while the application pool was smaller and the upcoming semester, the university converted more applications. First year estimates are up by 2% from last year, according to the latest enrollment project projections. May 1st tends to be the national data for every student. Let us know if they are coming. Medley said, "We're actually ahead on deposits, despite being down in the applications this year. We had more students complete their applications, which was good, and we also had more students who were admissible. Transfer students are down by 51%, she reported. Graduate enrollment is down by 7%, I guess. Overall, and international graduate admitted students who pay the most for tuition are down by 35%. The board in April approved a 50% increase in tuition fees. Morris said that the new tuition rates mean the university will raise an additional about $3.6 million from undergraduate students, and the lower number of graduate students means a loss of about $3.7 million, he said. Last year, employees received a $600 raise in their annual salary. Later that year, 47 available positions were cut. Moore said that the university is not alone with such meager raises, but enrollment won't be official until a census of all students is taken in September. If students recruit efforts and result in numbers considerably higher than the projections, Miller said the board should evaluate some compensation increases. We will be monitoring the fall census very closely, Morris said. As we get into the fall, things become more known. We know what's coming from the state. We know what enrollment is. If enrollment comes in better than projected, then certainly we could revisit compensation information about time. And I think that will be it for that article. Back to Tony.
All right. Well, Springfield has been ranked among the top 20 best housing markets in the U.S. Marta Meese in the Springfield News-Leader said Springfield has made the list of the country's top housing markets. The Queen City has been placed as 15th best housing market in the U.S. by the Wall Street Journal and Realtor.com, climbing from number 50 on last year's list. The ranking by the two publications evaluates 200 most populous U.S. metropolitan areas using a combination of housing market conditions and measures of economic health and livability. The market conditions are based on real estate demand, supply, median listing price trend, property taxes, and climate risk to properties. Quality of life is evaluated on several smaller weighted factors, including wages, unemployment, amenities, and commute time. Springfield, while the only Missouri city within the top 20, is joined on the list primarily by other Midwest metros. Commerce Bank chief economist Scott Colbert said this is largely due to the affordability of the region in comparison with the rest of the country, as the Midwest has not seen the major population booms present elsewhere. Nationwide, affordability has been at its worst, with interest rates up and median home prices soaring coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, he said. David Mitchell, an economics professor at Missouri State University and director of the Bureau of Economic Research, said because of Springfield's low cost of living, housing tends to be more affordable in comparison to other places. The Queen City is also fairly insulated from large swings in the economy. We don't really get the big highs, but at the same time, that also means you don't get the big lows either, he said. Colbert noted Springfield's spot on the list makes sense. The city's metro area has seen steady population growth, outpacing that of the state, and has seen lower unemployment rates as well. This makes Springfield stand out from other cities on the top 20. Most of the other top housing markets are also mid-sized rather than major cities, again due to affordability. But Colbert said Springfield is the exception to what he described as the rest of the cities, including, quote, depressed areas. He said cities like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Akron, Ohio, and Lansing, Michigan are among those hardest hit by the decline in manufacturing along the Rust Belt. All of those outscored Springfield on the list, with South Bend, Indiana taking the top spot. When you look at the big driving theme, it was certainly just simply, kind of places I will say that haven't benefited recently. Springfield is the exception to this rule, Colbert said. I think it's probably overweighting the price of the house relative to the economy. He said the ranking did not put as much weight on other factors that make a place desirable to live in, such as a growing economy, good education system, and access to health care. Population growth was among the biggest factors in a healthy housing market, Mitchell also noted. He said housing stock increases at roughly the same rate as the population grows as the market responds to increased demand. With new construction within city limits constricted, Mitchell said more construction is likely to move beyond the city borders. So does this mean Springfield residents will be better able to buy a home? Well, while the ranking makes Springfield attractive for those living in more expensive states like Texas or California, it doesn't mean local residents will have an easier time buying a home. Alongside the low cost of living, Mitchell said Springfield also sees below average incomes, which results in less mobility for its residents. As has been the narrative across the country, he said Springfield is in need of more housing stock, especially as the metro area continues to grow. Although Springfield may attract out-of-state residents to move here, Springfieldians have a harder time moving out, especially for those who already own a home. Mitchell said there is a bit of a lock-in effect. It's difficult to get the same type of house we have here somewhere else unless you want to pay a whole lot more, he said. Springfield leaders have focused on improving the city's home ownership rates, but while it may be a favorable housing market for new residents moving to the area, current renters are unlikely to be able to afford buying a home any more than they were before, Colbert said, especially as interest rates have climbed. It's cheaper to rent almost everywhere than it is to buy a house, he said. Basically, many renters have been priced out because home prices are expensive, and it's really no different anywhere in the country. The war in Iran has seen the price of crude oil surge, and in response, the Federal Reserve has kept interest rates steady instead of coming back. Colbert said the high interest rates hurt affordability, though in Springfield's case, lower-priced homes see lesser effects than higher-priced homes when it comes to mortgage rates. But that also means those who bought a home when interest rates were lower are likely to stay put. It only locks the people that got the super low mortgages in even further because they know that the move just cost them money, he said. For the Springfield housing market, Mitchell said the impacts of the war are likely to be a factor for current commuters. If higher gas prices persist long term, those living in one of Springfield's bedroom communities may choose to move into the city to avoid a longer commute to work. He said the higher demand for homes would likely drive home prices in Springfield proper up, essentially converting cost of commuting into the price of home. Overall, Springfield's jumped from 50th in 2025 to 15th best housing market this year reflects its population growth and low cost of living and low unemployment rates compared to elsewhere in the nation. Springfield was among 7 markets that broke into the top 20, with most of them from the Midwest. Matt?
If it's Springfield Daily Citizen, a Glory's thing, you're invited to free Route 66. You're invited to free events at the Galois Route 66 Centennial Series. This is, well, I can't open it in a different mode, so it takes a bit to find more of it. Sponsored by the Galois Center for Arts and Entertainment, by the way. Presented by the Galois Center for Arts and Entertainment. This post was paid for and produced by the Galois. The Daily Citizen newsroom was not involved in the creation of this content. Celebrations on Route 66 continue as the Galois Theater launches its free Centennial Series tonight. Audio. Hang on. Okay, hang on. For nearly a century, the Galois has remained a destination for both locals and travelers. In partnership with the Missouri Route 66 Centennial Partnership, the Galois Route 66 Centennial series highlights the three primary programming engines that have inspired travelers on Route 66 since 1926: films, comedy, and music. This series also serves as the precursor to the Galois Centennial celebration in October 2026. The Galois Route 66 Centennial series features 3 free events. Route 66 Centennial free event lineup. Let's see here. Beach Ragtime Society Orchestra. That was announced on May 8th, so that would be tonight. 8 p.m. It looks like when it starts. Trying to find the next one here. Experience the Historic Route 66 programming exactly as it were opening night in 1926. Pituitary Ragtime Society Orchestra utilizes period-specific instruments and original musical scores to bring silent films, music, and comedy to life in a unique way that differs from today. Silent film is anything but silent. It's a highly interactive experience with live musicians providing the soundtrack for and the audience responding at the conductor's direction. Featuring Harold Lloyd in Safety Last, I believe. Last. And the card-centric short Get Under and Get Out, The Mystery Hour, Mother Road Division, Mystery Hour, okay, let's see. Mystery Hour Division, that's June 12th, it'll be at 8 p.m. as well, looks like. Springfield original, this 4-time Emmy Award-winning late night talk show returns with a special Route 66 edition featuring sketch comedy, music, and interviews led by host Jeff Harrison. The laughs and surprises are around every corner. You never know what's going to happen. That's why they call it the Mystery Hour. Pet Sounds Live. That's July 10th, 2026, again 8 p.m. More than a concert, this immersive experience celebrates Brian Wilson's iconic masterpiece, Pet Sounds, widely considered one of the most influential records in rock and roll history, featuring live music, performances of songs from the album, along with additional greatest hits by the Beach Boys. This show blends video production with cool historical facts for an incredible night. You'll truly feel the good vibrations live. Ticket information. All events are free. Tickets can only be reserved by phone at 417-863-9491 or in person at the Galois box office. Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 1 hour before doors open on event days. All reserved tickets must be redeemed at least 15 minutes before showtime. Tickets not redeemed by this time will be released to other patrons. Reservations are e-tickets only. A commemorative ticket will be handed out upon arrival at the event. Route 66 Centennial Series. Bonus, anyone who redeems a ticket to any of the free Galois Route 66 Centennial events is eligible for a complimentary scheduled Galois history tour. Simply call 417-863-9491 to reserve your space. These three events celebrate nearly a century of culture, honoring our roots in silent film, comedy, and music, just as it was intended when the Galois Theater first opened its doors in 1926. Story behind the series. In the spring of 1926, Route 66 was officially announced just across the street from where the Galois Theater stands today at the Colonial Hotel, with cars in the 1920s not yet designed for long distance travel. Frequent stops were inevitable. The entertainment industry quickly recognized an opportunity, and theaters began springing up all along the route. Galois was so determined to place his theater venue on Route 66 that he purchased the closest undeveloped land he could find, a plot only a block removed on Olive Street. To secure his presence on the Mother Road, he negotiated a 100-year lease to secure a storefront at 325 Park Central East, measuring just 10 feet wide and 78 feet deep. A few months later, on October 11th, 1926, Amy Galois opened the doors to his Galois Theater, located within 100 feet of where Route 66 was first announced. The Galois established a lasting connection with Route 66 from the very beginning. When the Galois first opened, it was referred to as a transition house. Programming alternated between live performances, vaudeville, and silent films, and entertaining audiences with everything from Felix the Cat cartoons to singers, dancers, jugglers, comedians, etc., and back to silent film. Serials like Laurel and Hardy or Buster Keaton. One night might feature a live performance, the next a motion picture, creating a dynamic, ever-changing entertainment experience. There's no better place to celebrate the Mother Road than here at the birthplace of Route 66 in a house that has been making memories since 1926. This post was paid for and produced by the Galois Center for Arts and Entertainment, a partner of the Springfield Daily Citizen. The Daily Citizen newsroom was not involved in the creation of this content. To be accepted, sponsored content must be consistent with the news or feature topics and the Springfield centric geography of the Daily Citizen. For questions or information about sponsored content, please get in touch with Daily Citizen CEO David Stoffler at Stoffler at sgfdailycitizen.org. To become a Daily Citizen partner, please get in touch with partnership sales manager John Tate at looks like Tate at sgfdailycitizen.org. And that is the article on to Tony again.
And we are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store situated at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. For additional information about our store, please visit our official website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. To explore more of our video content, including movie reviews with Matt and Meredith, adaptive technology training videos, and other informative material, please visit our YouTube channel by searching for Blind Community Thrift Store. Our organization is dedicated to supporting the blind community through various initiatives, and our online platforms serve as valuable resources for community engagement and education. And a Springfield man has been convicted of sexually abusing 2 children. The story by Jackie Rewald in the Springfield Daily Citizen says it took a Greene County jury 4 hours of deliberation to find a Springfield man guilty of 9 felony sex offenses against children, young girls he and his now ex-wife had taken in as foster children and later adopted. Fred Joseph Nelson, age 71, was convicted of 5 counts of child molestation in the first degree, 3 counts of statutory sodomy in the first degree, and 1 count of attempted statutory rape in the first degree on Wednesday, May 6th in Judge Jerry Harmison's courtroom. The jury found him not guilty of 3 counts of felony sex offenses. The case originated in September 2020 when Greene County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a residence regarding allegations of past sexual abuse. 3 of Nelson's daughters disclosed that they had been sexually abused by Nelson over a period of years when they were children, beginning when each was under 14 years old. The abuse occurred at family residences in Greene County between 2003 and 2010. In her closing arguments Wednesday, First Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Elizabeth Fax told the jury Nelson had, quote, underestimated a lot of things. He underestimated that the truth eventually always comes to light. As much as he worked to conceal, hide, and manipulate his daughters and his family, the truth always comes to light, Fax said. Most of all, and most significantly, he underestimated the 3 daughters who testified against him. He assumed they would not be able to tell because of who he was to them. Fax told the jury that Nelson assumed his victims would not be believed if they ever disclosed the abuse. He underestimated that, after all this time, they would have the strength or ability to come forward and speak the truth, Fax said. That there would come a day when they, collectively, here in this courtroom, would tell all of you what happened. He underestimated the fact that these grown women would be able to stand up for the child versions of themselves, Fax said. 2 of the daughters who testified against Nelson were biological sisters who have Fragile X syndrome, a genetic condition that can cause developmental problems, including learning disabilities and cognitive impairment. One of these now adult women also had mental health struggles, including schizophrenia. On the stand, some of her testimony contradicted her previous statements. The jury found Nelson not guilty of the 2 charges stemming from her allegations of sexual abuse. In her closing, Fax reminded the jury of the recorded phone call they heard during the trial. The recorded conversation was between Nelson and his then-wife, who called him after she learned of the allegations in 2020. Unbeknownst to Nelson, an investigator was with his wife, and that call was recorded. During the call, Nelson at first denied sexually abusing the girls and later stated he did not remember abusing them. Nelson's defense attorney Stuart Huffman argued, and Nelson's ex-wife also testified, that Nelson had memory difficulties due to multiple brain surgeries. But Fax pointed to something specific Nelson said during that recorded phone call. When the defendant asks sort of the rhetorical question of, "What kind of animal was I?" we know, Fax continued, he was the worst kind because he chose to manipulate, scare, and abuse 3 children that he chose to bring into his home who were already vulnerable due to being in the foster care system, 2 of whom were vulnerable because of their Fragile X diagnosis. Huffman also gave closing arguments on Wednesday. He urged the jury to recall Nelson's ex-wife's testimony that the girls, quote, had problems with lying, truthfulness, running away, and stealing, things that directly impact on whether or not a person should or should not be believed. These stories are all over the place, Huffman said. These stories are all over the place because they are just not true. Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Jacqueline Ledesma Ruelas wrapped up the state's case on Wednesday afternoon before the jury began deliberations. Ledesma Ruelas argued the jury should not disregard testimony from the two sisters who have Fragile X and, quote, struggled with specific timelines. Think about what the defense has demanded. They want adult women to reconstruct exact calendars from traumatic events that happened repeatedly as children between 2008 and 2010, Ledesma Ruelas said. Victims remember what happened to them. They remember who did it. They remember the fear. They remember the touching. They remember the secrecy, the prosecutor continued. What they often cannot do is attach every event to a perfect date 15 years later. After the jury returned with its verdict of guilty on 9 of the 12 charges Wednesday evening, Nelson was taken into custody and booked into the Greene County Jail. Nelson faces a potential sentence of multiple decades in the Missouri Department of Corrections, with several counts carrying lifetime supervision requirements upon release. He will be sentenced on June 10th. These victims showed remarkable courage in coming forward to report abuse that occurred years ago and in seeing this case through to a verdict, Greene County Prosecuting Attorney Dan Patterson said in a news release. We are grateful for the dedicated work of the Greene County Sheriff's Office investigators whose thorough investigation made this prosecution possible. Yeah.
From the Springfield Citizen, Ozarks searching for new head football coach to replace Jeremy, Cottle. A second Springfield area Class 6 head football coach has reportedly stepped down nearly 3 months before August camp. Jeremy Cottle is out at Ozark following a 3-year stint and a 9-24 record with the Tigers. The program, a member of the Missouri Football Power Central Ozark Conference, has had one winning season, 6-5 in 2020. In 8 years and one district title, 2012, since 2010. Ozark School District has started the process of replacing Cottle, posting an ad for the vacant position on its website Wednesday. Ozark Athletic Director Little told the Christian County headliner that Cottle resigned Wednesday morning, but did not immediately respond to a request from the Daily Citizen. Cottle did not respond to a Daily Citizen text message seeking comment. This is the second COC head coaching change in 2 weeks following Nate Thomas' resignation from Kickapoo after 9 seasons. Thomas told the Daily Citizen he is returning to his former post in Marshall, where he's lived for several years, to lead the Blue Jays. 4 of the Springfield metro area's big school Class 5 football coaches stepped down during the academic year, including Parkview's Kim and Central's Shem Johnson, who've since been replaced. Ozark, which averaged 31 points last season, appeared set to return 3 key offensive pieces in 2026, including all-district running backs Easley and Anthony Caudill, Jeremy's son, and all-district tight end Hendrix Hammonds, who has a Division I interest. In 2024, the Tigers joined a short list of schools in Missouri to get an indoor practice facility. Ozarks Athletics is going through a season of change with the upcoming retirement of Little, set to be replaced by Crawford Ashley in 2026, 2027. And new head coaches in football, girls, basketball, soccer, boys and girls. Back in August, Ozark brought on a new softball coach. Before Caudle and his family moved to Southwest Missouri from Chicago area in 2023, he was a head coach for 13 seasons with stops at Lincoln Way Central in New Lenox and Bard South High School. He is a 2000 graduate of Illinois State, where he played defensive back for the Redbirds. That's it for that one. Back to Tony.
All right. Looks like there's going to be a virtual meeting on May 18th for the Fordland Route 60 Bridges rehab. Janice Reeser from the Springfield News-Leader says residents interested in the U.S. Route 60 Bridge Rehabilitation Project in Fordland are invited to participate in a virtual public meeting from May 18th to June 1st. The online meeting will provide information about the proposed improvements, allow participants to ask questions, and offer a platform for submitting comments, according to a community announcement from the Missouri Department of Transportation. The project aims to rehabilitate the eastbound and westbound U.S. Route 60 bridges over Webster County Route PP, BNSF Railroad, and Front Street in Fordland. Construction is scheduled to begin in spring 2027 and is expected to be completed by spring 2028. The estimated total construction is $6.6 million. During construction, U.S. Route 60 will be reduced to one lane in each direction. Drivers accessing westbound U.S. Route 60 from Webster County Route Z will be directed along a assigned detour east on Route 60 to the Route A interchange at Diggins. Route PP will be reduced to one lane under the U.S. Route 60 bridges, with traffic controlled by flaggers and/or temporary signals. Front Street will be closed under the U.S. Route 60 bridges for the duration of the project. The community announcement urges drivers to find alternate routes during construction. The virtual public meeting can be accessed at modot.org/southwest beginning May 18th. Comments on the project can be mailed in, emailed in, or submitted online through the project website until June 1st. For those unable to access the online meeting, accommodations can be made by contacting MoDOT's Southwest District Office at 417-895-7600. For more information, visit modot.org/southwest or call MoDOT in Springfield at 417-895-7600. And in other transportation news, also from Janice Research Springfield News-Leader, a highway program is now open statewide across Missouri. Missouri businesses, organizations, community groups, and individuals can now participate in the Missouri Department of Transportation's Sponsor a Highway program statewide. The program, previously available only in the St. Louis and Kansas City areas, allows individuals, organizations, and businesses to sponsor 1-mile sections of highway across the state. A MoDOT certified service provider, Adopt a Highway Litter Removal Service of America, handles litter removal and related maintenance on behalf of sponsors, according to a community announcement. Most highways in Missouri are now included in the program, with the vast majority of roadway miles open for sponsorship. Each sponsored roadway is cleaned at least once per month or more frequently as needed. Sponsors receive signage displaying their name and logo along the designated stretch of highway. The expansion of this service with the help of these sponsors could allow us to offset some of the approximately $13 million that we spend on litter removal efforts each year, MoDOT Chief Safety and Operations Officer Becky Almeroth said in the announcement. Every area of Missouri that is kept free of litter allows us to devote our resources to other much-needed tasks. We encourage anyone interested in the effort to keep Missouri beautiful to explore this new opportunity. There are other programs that aim to keep Missouri litter-free. In addition to Sponsor a Highway, MoDOT offers several other programs to help keep Missouri free of litter. We have Keeping Missouri Beautiful, MoDOT's volunteer litter pickup program for Missouri state routes, formerly known as the Adopt a Highway program. We have No More Trash, Missouri's statewide litter prevention campaign, working to make Missouri litter-free through education, prevention, and cleanup programs. And we have the Trash Can Contest, MoDOT's annual contest geared toward Missouri public school students in partnership with the No More Trash program to raise awareness and discourage littering. To participate in the Sponsor a Highway program, call Adopt a Highway Litter Removal Service of America, Inc. at 1-800-499-2367 or visit adoptahighway.net/Missouri. To learn more about MoDOT's litter efforts, visit modot.org/litter. Matt?
For the Springfield Daily Citizen, Queen City Shakespeare Company presents modern twist on Macbeth. Queen City Shakespeare Company is opening its second season with a bit of a house party at the Glow Center. Audiences need to bring only their tickets and themselves. There are just 7 performers of Macbeth planned on May 8th and 16th. The modern take on William Shakespeare's Macbeth examines what happens when a freshman acting major gets the female lead in the show and the power dynamic of the department shifts. After a few drinks loosen the girls' grip on respectability and things get too real. They come to learn that what's done cannot be undone. While the play is set in a theater department, director Mallory Aggie says Macbeth is relatable to a wider audience. I think anybody who was in any kind of niche group or anything kind of group in college that had very political dynamics in the way that there's maybe some favoritism and that gets put into the play, or it can be kind of be a boys' club sometimes. You can see that in this play, and you can feel that, she said. I definitely think that with the dynamics of the patriarch and the way a lot of fields are male-dominated, people even in spaces where it doesn't necessarily think that they are, the less the patriarchy has a lot to do with how we perceive ourselves, perceive each other, and perceive the way things should be. And so I think that even if you're not a theater kid, you can see in your mind's eye that, or in your mindset that that we still do have some things to tackle, some hurdles to jump, and that kind of thing. And everyone went to middle school, high school, whatever. We've all had a mean girl in our lives before, and so being able to kind of see what those dynamics and inner workings are like is very interesting. Part party, part psychological battleground is the next heading. Macbeth takes place over the course of a single night at the apartment and 2 college students in Michigan. The UMNC theater department is preparing a stage. Macbeth and friends Rachel Gordon, Joel Lennox, and I'm not sure I pronounced that one. Lisa's and people's names are anxiously awaiting for the cast list to be posted. When it is, wide-eyed freshman Hagley group is in the role of Lady Macbeth. The upperclassmen invite into Rachel's apartment to celebrate Haley's past and present their positions at the top of the theater department's hierarchy. As the drinks flow, the girls interrogate their own sense of ambition as well as the power structure that have shaped their theatrical education. That spirals into violent and shocking acts of betrayal. The show is recommended for mature audiences, 14 and older, for themselves with violence, betrayal, sexual content, and strong language. Part biological battleground, divides, dives headfirst into the chaos of young ambition, asking who gets to take the spotlight, who gets pushed out, and how far someone will go to stay on top. A Queen City Shakespeare media release said, the dark comedy was written by Sophie Bogdanovich or something like that in 2022, and I saw a production of Unicorn Theater in Kansas City in 2023. I've been dying to get my hands on it ever since because I think it's just brilliant, she said. Maggie is directing her first production since 2024's Tick Tick Boom at High Tide Theatrical. One of my favorite things about it is how conversational it is and how natural it is to explore relationships and womanhood in the theater and what that means. And so I approach it from a place of let's make sure everyone everything we're doing feels natural, because the script is such a natural conversation. Single setting, overlapping dialogue, challenge actors, setting the entire play, which runs 90 minutes with no intermission at one party, is a challenge for the cast, which includes several Queen City Shakespeare veterans in Calvin Spencer. I'm not sure about some of these names, so I'm going past these. As the show's other swing. One of the big concerns of me is keeping things visually interesting. They're at a party at a house, and so naturally the instinct is to kind of just sit there and chill and talk to the people like you would at a house party, like you said. And so we're making it visually dynamic while maintaining a sense of reality, because we are really close to our audience. The really cool thing is that the audience is going to feel like they're sitting in the living room with us. We even have a couch in the front row of our seats, so it's like they're there. It's very immersive, it's very dynamic in that way. Another challenge is the overlapping dialogue. Maggie credits, I guess, Torch or with making the material feel natural in that way. What we worked on is what we've worked on is, are you interrupting this person because you're like, oh exactly, let me finish that sentence, or is it stop talking, I want to say what I want to say. a really big challenge is figuring out what the motivations are those lines cutoffs. I like to make sure that if actors have impulses or ideas that they want to try, then we went ahead and went for it. There was one even that was out of my comfort zone, so an actor proposed that we are using in the show are I think it's absolutely brilliant. What does it mean for me to say those words? The script changes in another way. She plays Rachel's best friend. Rachel is the leading lady who expects to be a star and has to stand just off center of the spotlight because of that. Whoever said that City represents the worst things women can say about each other. I think something that we've all been exploring in our character is what it means to be these characters in our bodies specifically. I have a line in the show where I say girls don't get work in this industry, at least not in, after this conversation where I've said horrible things about this girl who we don't know anything about, or the girls in the room think she's ugly. I have been thinking about what it means to say that as someone who is marginalized body in the theater world. Being in a fat body does also mean that I don't get cast as and so what does it mean for me as this character that I'm fully embodying? What does it mean for me to say those words? And that's been a really interesting exploration. The key question is I'm not the what is. We get the idea. It's very long. It can go on to two. It's hard. A lot of weird words in that. So we'll go on to something else.
Well, a Senate committee vote kills the Missouri video lottery proposal. Missouri Independent has brought this to us through the Springfield Daily Citizen by Rudy Keller. A bill to authorize video lottery games in gas stations and other locations suffered a decisive defeat Wednesday in a Missouri Senate committee, ending for another year hopes of vendors hoping to replace unregulated games. With no discussion, the Senate Select Committee on Gaming voted unanimously against the House-passed bill. The committee was set up by Senate President Pro Tem Cindy O'Laughlin to consider the bill, and she made herself the chair. O'Laughlin, a Republican from Shelbina, has been a longtime opponent of video lottery games and said nothing she's heard has changed her position. My problem is it's horrible for all the communities, and if we want to expand gaming, we can put it on the ballot, O'Laughlin said. Backers of video lottery games promoted it as a big new source of revenue for Missouri, seeking to win support as the general revenue surplus is depleted and Republican Governor Mike Kehoe pushes for repeal of the state income tax. The bill was estimated to generate about $300 million in new revenue for education and $56 million for veterans services. That amount is attractive, State Senator Stephen Weber, a Columbia Democrat, said after the committee vote. But Weber said he voted against the bill because his hometown is considering an ordinance banning unregulated games, and gambling of all kinds is a growing social problem. I'm becoming increasingly concerned with gambling, Weber said. I think that sports gambling is probably more impactful in a negative way than 5 or 6 years ago I thought it might be. Certainly, I am sympathetic to the revenue argument, but at some point, the state just can't be built on sin taxes. Under the legislation, the Missouri Lottery would have authority to license video games for installation in retail locations across the state. The licensed machines would have to pay out at least 80% of the money wagered as prizes, and about 1/3 of the profits would be dedicated to state education programs. The bill would also impose a 3% tax on video lottery profits to aid local governments and would increase the fee casinos pay for each patron who enters the gaming floor from $2 to $4. The bill also included an annual $250 fee per machine to go towards disability services. The bill was opposed by the Missouri Gaming Association, which represents the state's 13 licensed casinos. The casinos believe the thousands of unregulated machines in Missouri's market has cost them and the state hundreds of millions in tax dollars since they began appearing in 2019. "We're very happy with the vote," said Mike Winter, lobbyist for the casinos group. Casino tax revenue, which is based on the amount lost by gamblers, has been growing but at a slow pace, and in March, as the rapid rise in gas prices due to the Iran war took hold, casinos reported an 11% drop in revenue compared to March 2025. "We've always been of the belief that, with the number of illegal machines that are out there, that people are going to those locations to gamble illegally on a slot machine rather than coming to our facilities," Winter said. The defeat comes as Republican Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, in cooperation with federal authorities, has been moving to shut down the unregulated machines. The new enforcement push began around the time U.S. District Judge James Ross wrote a formal ruling to back up an October jury decision that Torch Electronics, the biggest vendor in the state market, was illegally competing with arcade-like games by offering illegal slot machines. Ross, who was appointed by President Barack Obama, said in a February decision that Torch's machines, quote, "meet the statutory definition of gambling device and are therefore illegal under Missouri law when played outside a licensed casino." In early April, Hanaway announced that Torch had agreed to shut off all its machines in Missouri as it seeks a settlement to avoid criminal charges. No final settlement has been announced, but the machines remain off. There are other vendors who provide slot machine-like games similar to those offered by Torch. Hanaway has not announced any actions against other game vendors. Winter said he anticipates tax revenue from casinos will rise as the games are shut down. "It's going to take time as Attorney General Hanaway goes after more and more of these illegal machine operations," Winter said. "I believe you'll see an uptick in admissions at the casinos as more and more of those machines are pulled out of operation." Matt?
For the Springfield Daily Citizen, a new place to go check out for food. Paul's Breakfast House, new Ozarks Eatery, is home to the 3-pound cinnamon roll. Sounds interesting. There's a new breakfast place that's causing a buzz on social media. Everyone's talking about the Goliath 3-pound cinnamon rolls and foot-long French toast at Paul's Breakfast House, an 80s themed spot in Branson. The owners, Alan Graham and Joshua Branson, something like that, own Billy Gill's and Flat Creek. Those are good places. Restaurants, and are known for oversized portions. Nick Hirschman, Director of Operations, said Branson needed another breakfast option, but they didn't want to open another Billy Gill's, so they came up with a new concept. A building became available, and we pulled the trigger before we had the concept together, Hirschman said. It started as non-themed, Hirschman said. There are quite a few 50s diners in town. Both owners have fond memories from the 80s. We liked the idea of bright colors, something that would stand out and pop. Billy Gill's is known for its 14-inch pancakes, and they wanted another gigantic food item that would get customers in the door but didn't want to copy the dish. Initially, they planned to make giant waffles. We found it very challenging to have someone make waffle for iron for us that were 14 inches. He said that is not something that is normally produced. So that idea got nixed. We talked about cinnamon rolls. We had done cinnamon rolls at Billy Gill's, but they didn't do as well as they had hoped. They did normal cinnamon rolls, so we thought, what if we could create a giant one? Hirschman was tasked with creating a mega roll. From cinnamon rolls to French toast, some items are a quick hit. He worked with a couple of local chefs to come up with a recipe. After a lot of trial and error, baking is not his forte. They had a solid recipe. The challenge was to mass producing it. It takes 5 hours to make the cinnamon roll and 45 minutes to bake, so they had to refine a process where cinnamon rolls would be baking at different times so a customer doesn't have to wait 45 minutes for it to bake. They also offer regular sized cinnamon rolls. They are hand rolled and made in-house, and customers can watch them being rolled out. In the future, they want to add different flavors so they are always advertising something new coming. Before they roll that out, they wanted to be sure customers were satisfied with the cinnamon rolls, and so far they have been a big hit. Another successful item is the foot-long French toast made out of, what is that? I'm not sure. Brioche or something like that, I think. What was not a hit was their signature potatoes. Those have been pulled from the menu because they were not convenient, I guess. Instead, they have the same hash browns you'll find at Billy Gill's. The feedback has been much more positive since switching. Hirschman said they like to listen to customer feedback and take it seriously and are swift to make changes when needed. Another attention-grabbing gimmick is their Double Dare Challenge. It's one of those enormous meals that you have to eat in 30 minutes. If you do, it's free. If not, you pay. The challenges are live streamed, and the winner earns a t-shirt and spot on the wall. They hired an actual professional eater to test it for them, known as Terry Tackles It. He completed the challenge. Hirschman said that they wanted something achievable but not by the average person. Big portions are what their company is known for. Today people go out to eat, and no matter where they go, prices are rising. So we want people to see the value we are offering. People get a second meal while other restaurants are slimming down. We want to offer more, Hirschman said. Cocktails are on the horizon, and the GM may be familiar. Those who remember Morning Day Cafe in Nixa, good news, the former owner, Miranda, is now the general manager at Pulse. She brought her creative flair and breakfast cocktail knowledge with her. The breakfast egg rolls are on the menu, were her invention. Interesting. There are 3 egg rolls filled with eggs and cheese. One has bacon, 1 sausage, and 1 avocado. They're served with queso and gravy for dipping. She was able to contribute a lot to our menu, Bertram said. The restaurant does not have its liquor license yet, but is in the process. Hershman said they plan to add a full bar and coffee bar, but they decided it's open before they had those in place. Within a few weeks, we'll have Moses Bloody Mary's, a whole list of cocktails that Miranda is ready to roll out, he said. Expect to see some changes on the horizon. Paul's Breakfast House opened on April 7th. They bought the building in December and started renovating immediately, so the last few months have been a whirlwind. The Paul in the name is a tribute to both of the owners' fathers who are named Paul. While you can score breakfast all day, the restaurant also serves lunch and is open until 9 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. The smash burgers have been popular, and they have creative sandwiches and wraps. The restaurant is colorful and has iconic images from the 80s, like the Breakfast Club cast. The concept of the 80s has really resounded with people, Rushman said. I have had so many compliments on the atmosphere, the food, the music, the colors. We want it to be real fun atmosphere for our guests without crossing the line of being cheesy. They are adding a covered patio to improve the building and still working on as a non-baker, it has been so rewarding to see the giant cinnamon rolls to fruition and take off. He's optimistic about the future. There is definitely more to come from us, Ashman said. We are excited to expand on the cinnamon roll concept. I can't speak highly enough about our breakfast concept and what we have created on our menu. Find it, Paul's Breakfast House. That is 2009, I think. West 76 Country Boulevard, Branson, or on Facebook. I think that is it. Looks like. Sounds like a fun place.
Yeah, I was just checking out their menu while you read. It looks delicious.
Nice.
And we are currently broadcasting from the Blind Community Thrift Store. The Blind Community Thrift Store is a spacious 17,000 square foot thrift store located in Springfield, Missouri. It holds the distinction of being the first retail store worldwide to incorporate NaviLens technology, which significantly enhances accessibility for the blind, visually impaired, and non-English speaking individuals. This innovative system enables customers to navigate and shop with minimal assistance, fostering independence and confidence. The store operates as a nonprofit organization dedicated to generating funds that support the provision of adaptive technology and training for the blind and visually impaired community, often at little to no cost. Visitors can learn more about the organization and access its services by visiting the store in person at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri, or by exploring the website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The website offers comprehensive information about the store's mission, services, and opportunities for community involvement, as well as details about the free store available to residents in the Springfield area. And coming to us from Zoe McIntyre from the Springfield Daily Citizen, a woman burned during a Sparta bonfire seeks testimony from witnesses. A Springfield woman who was severely burned during a private bonfire last month in Sparta has filed a petition seeking testimony from witnesses. The incident took place between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. on April 19th. 3 people were burned. On Tuesday, May 5th, Aubrey Dye, one of the people burned, filed a verified petition to perpetuate testimony before action. The document indicates Dye plans to pursue a personal injury lawsuit, and her attorney wants to depose witnesses while memories are still fresh. The petition alleges that Ian Letterman of Sparta poured gasoline onto an active fire, causing a sudden flare-up and serious bodily injuries to Dye. Dye's attorney is seeking to get testimony for Letterman, eyewitnesses whose names are redacted from the petition, and medical providers. Friends and family report that Dye's injuries were life-threatening and she is still facing serious health concerns. Christian County Sheriff Brad Cole previously told the Daily Citizen that those at the bonfire knew each other, and his office is investigating the incident. It does not appear any criminal charges have been filed. Ozark Refuge has shared several updates on Dye and her partner, Gabe McDaniel, who works for the company and was also injured during the bonfire. Dye pulled through a medically induced coma and multiple surgeries after suffering third-degree burns to about half of her body, according to Facebook posts from Ozark Refuge. On May 4th, the company shared an update from Dye's sister, who said Dye is struggling with pneumonia. She is talking to us, but quite confused at times, afraid, and in pain, the post said in part. Please pray that her lungs will clear up and she will be pneumonia-free soon. Please pray that her wounds have begun granulating so we can be on the right path to skin grafts. Please pray that her anxiety subsides. She is a warrior. McDaniel had been released from the hospital as of May 6th. Ozark Refuge announced a GoFundMe for the couple has raised over $41,000. And in other public order and safety news, a Springfield man previously convicted of murder is back behind bars, accused of a hatchet attack. Jackie Rewald from the Springfield Daily Citizen tells us less than 3 years after he was released from prison on a murder conviction, a Springfield man is accused of attacking a man with a hatchet over the weekend. Christopher Michael Salisbury, age 41, is charged with the Class B felony of first-degree assault and armed criminal action for an alleged assault that happened around midnight, Saturday, May 2nd, at a residence in Springfield. In 2005, Salisbury was convicted of second-degree murder, first-degree assault, and armed criminal action. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison, but released on parole in 2023. According to the probable cause statement from the recent charges, Springfield police were dispatched to a residence around 11:30 p.m. Saturday for a priority assault and found the victim, identified as V1, lying on the front porch of a home with a laceration to the left side of his neck and head. The laceration was actively bleeding, 1 to 2 inches long, and appeared to be caused by a sharp-bladed object. V1 told police he was assaulted by a male he knew as Fox. Fox was identified as Salisbury, a neighbor of V1's brother. Following a photo is a photo of Christopher Salisbury. It's a booking photo taken by the Greene County Sheriff's Office with Salisbury in a black t-shirt and a quite unhappy look on his face standing in front of the gray cinder block wall. According to the statement, V1 and other individuals who lived in the neighborhood were outside talking. At some point, V1 and Salisbury got into an argument. Salisbury walked away and into a residence and then allegedly returned with a hatchet. According to the statement, Salisbury then charged at V1 with the hatchet and struck him in the left side, face, and neck. V1 told police he tried to defend himself by punching Salisbury. A witness told police similar accounts of what had happened. A second witness said he did not see the assault happen, but he said he did see Salisbury return to the argument with the hatchet in his hand, according to the statement. A third witness told officers V1 and Salisbury agreed to fight on the side of the house and that V1 hit Salisbury with a brick. When asked about the hatchet, the third witness says Salisbury could have had it on him, but the witness said it was hard to see because it was dark. Salisbury denied having an axe or hatchet in his hand when the scuffle occurred, according to the statement. Police say Salisbury made multiple statements to officers that he had been assaulted by a brick and that he was defending his girlfriend. According to a 2004 article in the Washington Missourian, Salisbury, at the time age 19, stabbed his then 17-year-old girlfriend in the early morning hours of September 12, 2004, outside of a home in Union. She survived. But Salisbury also stabbed the girl's father, Louis Fingers, age 40, in the neck when he responded to his daughter's screams for help. Fingers died at the scene. According to the 2004 article, Salisbury had been living with his teenage girlfriend and her parents in Union, Missouri. The young couple had been walking around Union, arguing, and returned to the Fingers home on Circle Drive around 3 a.m. Louis Fingers heard his daughter scream. He ran outside to try to push Salisbury off his daughter and was struck in the neck with the knife, according to the article. Salisbury reportedly told police in 2004 that his girlfriend had the knife and he was trying to take it away from her. The 17-year-old girl had been stabbed 3 times in her right side and 3 times in her forearm, which indicated a defensive posture, according to the article. After pleading guilty in 2005, Salisbury spent just under 18 years in the Department of Corrections before he was released on parole in 2023. Salisbury is being held without bond in the Greene County Jail. He does not have an attorney listed as representing him. And we have several obituaries this week, beginning with Margie Ann Rookstool McCurdy, who was born January 30th, 1932, to parents Raymond and Bessie McCurdy. She died April 30th, 2026, at the age of 94. Those arrangements are being provided. There is a funeral graveside service at Mount Comfort Cemetery. Next up, James Lyons, aged 83, passed away April 26th, 2026. Those arrangements are provided by Gorman Scharf Funeral Home. Those services will be held on May 12th at 4 p.m. Loretta Yates, age 90, passed away April 27th, 2026. Those arrangements are provided by Adams Funeral Home, Nixa. Shirley Maples, age 90, of Clever, Missouri, passed away May 3rd, 2026. Arrangements provided by Adams Funeral Home. Those services will be on May 10th at 3 p.m. A celebration of life for Leslie J. Les Mace will be held on Saturday, May 9th, 2026, with the visitation beginning at 9:30 a.m. and a service will follow at 11 a.m. at First Baptist Church. Those arrangements being handled by Gorman Scharf Funeral Home. Jerry Lee Julian was born on August 2nd, 1938 in Hartville, Missouri, and passed away on April 28th, 2026 at the age of 87. He is survived by his daughter, and those arrangements are being provided by Walnut Lawn Funeral Home. Paul Eugene Bonds, age 83, of Rogersville, Missouri, passed away early Saturday morning, May 2nd, 2026, surrounded by his family. Those arrangements are being provided by Klingner Cope at Rivermont. Ronald Lamar Moore, age 66, passed away on April 20th, 2026 in Branson, Missouri. Those arrangements are not disclosed. Finally, Alan Comiskey was born July 11th, 1938 to Frank and Irene Wade Comiskey and departed his earthly life on May 2nd, 2026. Those arrangements are being handled by Metters Funeral Home. Matt, are you ready?
Hope I have time to read this one. Another restaurant from a couple days ago. Springfield's incredible food and fun completes rebrand to connect with new generation. After 25 years, Springfield's homegrown family entertainment center company has officially rebranded as Incredible Food and Fun. A new sign outside the flagship store on Campbell Avenue marks the completion of the rebrand. While the company has grown since it got off the ground in Springfield a quarter of a century ago, the last few years have been full of changes for the entertainment company, formerly known as Incredible Pizza. The founder and manager and father and daughter duo of Rick Parsons and Ashley McWorld hired a third partner consulting firm to draft a strategy to bring the entertainment chain into modern times. The rebrand will set up incredible food and fun for 25 more years of growth and hopefully even more Executive Vice President McGoran said. The business celebrated the rebrand with a ribbon cutting hosted by the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce on April 29th. Residents founded America's Incredible Pizza Company in 2001, and the business debuted in Springfield. In late 2010s, the company expanded its Springfield store after acquiring the adjacent property. New food items on the buffet line. The biggest part of the rebrand is the alluded to in the new name. Incredible Food and Fun will be known for all kinds of food, not just pizza. The all-you-can-eat buffet is now filled with fried chicken, fish, wings, and more. So Incredible Pizza will always be here, but we've added all kinds of various, like deep fried chicken, a person said. Gosh, we got an Asian bar. We've increased the taco bar. The business is really focused on the food. The rebrand included a mascot, Rusty the cool cat. Rusty is a lovable orange tabby cat that Incredible Food and Fun hopes to connect with customers. I hope they have a plush version. Those are fun to look at, just I can't see them. The mascot is already being rolled out in nearly all of Incredible Food and Fun's markets. With the new name comes a new updated logo and color scheme. It hints at the nostalgia of the brand while giving room for future growth. The renovations at the flagship Springfield location match that message. Originally themed like a 1950s diner, the family room has been updated to reflect modern times. We redid the family room, so it's not the 1950s theme anymore. It's more 80s, 90s. McCoy said, because parents are my age now. That's what they remember. The game rooms were also updated with new machines and new activities. Rebrand will help Incredible Food and Fun connect with a new generation. Altogether, the Springfield store has more than 54,000 square feet and was appraised at more than 3.9 million, according to Greene County Assessor's Office records. Incredible Food and Fun started the rebrand efforts in its flagship store in Springfield, but the 4 other corporate locations, including Oklahoma City, Tulsa, San Antonio, and Memphis, will undergo a rebrand. The renovations to the Tulsa location should be completed by the end of the summer, McGowan said. The financial investment of the rebrand was about 10 million so far. McGowan said, and he added that the new street sign installed in front of the Springfield store cost more than 30. I think it is. It will be up to discretion of the franchise owners if the 3 franchise stores, 1 in Houston and 2 in Mexico, apparently, ultimately rebrand or keep the Incredible Pizza name. It said the rebrand was needed to connect with a new generation. Reasonable Food and Fund found that the rerun will position the company for a new era while competing with the legacy of the family entertainment business. Is it pretty close? Are we?
Couple more lines.
Okay. 25 years is a long time for a business to be around, especially in this economy. McGowan said, we've made it. So, it's not to say that we won't make another 25 years, but we're hoping. That is it for the article, looks like.
All right. And police say man with ties to organized crime group was arrested in Springfield after targeting 44 Walmarts in a stealing scam. Steve Pokin from the Springfield Daily Citizen says prosecutors on Monday, May 4th, charged a 26-year-old man from Ohio with theft, alleging that he travels the Midwest trying to steal from Walmart stores. Xavier Avery Pasquinelli of Maumee is charged in Greene County with allegedly stealing $2,096 in electronics. According to court documents, Pasquinelli has attempted to steal $80,515 of merchandise from Walmarts throughout the Midwest and has allegedly stolen $29,936 worth of goods from the company. Following is a Greene County Jail booking photo of Mr. Pasquinelli wearing a bright red shirt and looking quite unhappy against the gray cinder block wall. Springfield police arrested him May 3rd after he allegedly tried to steal merchandise from two different Walmarts, posing as an employee for Spark, a company that Walmart uses to deliver items to customers who want home delivery. He first went to the electronics department at the Walmart at 2021 East Independence Street on Sunday afternoon, according to court documents. He allegedly showed employees a pickup order on his phone for two MetaQuest VR sets and two Nintendo Switch 2s. The items are valued at $2,096. Employees asked him for more information on the order number and customer name, and he allegedly told them it was in his vehicle, according to court documents, and he left and did not return. 17 minutes later, Pasquinelli was at the electronics department at the Walmart at 3315 South Campbell Avenue, allegedly trying to steal the same items, according to court documents, which state Pasquinelli walked over to register 16 and bagged the 4 items. Employees approached Pasquinelli and he showed the fake deleted order on his phone, then walked past all points of sale. Once Pasquinelli made it to the exit, he was confronted by employees and he ditched the items and fled on foot. Court documents state a Springfield officer had to tase Pasquinelli to subdue him and that Pasquinelli refused to identify himself. Documents state, quote, Pasquinelli also had a fake ID on his person at the time of arrest out of Ohio that did not check back to anyone. Springfield police obtained the suspect's identity with the help of the Bowling Green, Ohio Police Department. He has convictions in Ohio for robbery and domestic assault with strangulation, according to court documents. Court documents also state Pasquinelli has been involved in 44 different incidents that occurred in multiple states all over the Midwest involving Walmart stores. Pasquinelli appears to be part of an organized crime group. Pasquinelli is charged with theft over $750 and resisting arrest. Both are Class D felonies punishable by up to 7 years in prison and or a fine of up to $10,000. As of Tuesday, he was in the Greene County Jail on a $40,000 bond and did not have an attorney listed as representing him. And the Friends of the Library book sale sets a record and tops $6 million total. Janice Reeser from the Springfield News-Leader says that the Friends of the Library book sale set a new record and pushed total fundraising past $6 million. The event held last week in Springfield brought in $220,326.90, the highest total in the sale's history, despite severe weather and competing events, according to a community announcement. The biannual sale is organized by Friends of the Library, which has coordinated book sales for the district since 1985. Most items sold are donated by the community. Friends volunteers spend countless hours sorting, cleaning, pricing, and boxing the books and other items before each sale. The sale kicked off with a preview where sales surpassed the $6 million mark in total funds raised since the group started in 1985. Ed Walton, executive director of the Springfield Greene County Library District, said that the Friends' efforts make a significant impact. The Friends of the Library make an extraordinary difference in our community, Walton said in the announcement. Quote, their commitment and tireless support have resulted in record-breaking contributions to the library district, These funds will help us deliver meaningful programs that serve the evolving needs of Greene County. The Springfield Greene County Library District operates 10 branches and serves residents throughout Greene County. Learn more at thelibrary.org or contact Vicki Hicks, Community Relations Director, at 417-616-0564 or Vicki H, that's VICKIEH, at thelibrary.org. And cruising on Kearney, a decades-old tradition, revs up for summer Saturday nights as we come into the weekend. We'll read a little bit about this story here by Jim Wilson with the Springfield Daily Citizen. Begins with a photo of spectators lining both sides of West Kearney Street to watch drivers cruising a 3-mile section of the road as the sun sets. Those parking lots are pretty packed out, people sitting on curbs and sidewalks and vehicles, and the cars are definitely blurred as they are in motion and moving, although you can still tell one is a classic. I got a 69 Chevy with a 396, fuelie heads, and a hearse on the floor. She's waiting tonight down in the parking lot outside the 7-Eleven store. Racing in the Street by Bruce Springsteen. 2 miles north of where Route 66 cuts through Springfield stretches West Kearney Street. For decades, cars without the destinations or purposes that the Mother Road inspires have cruised east to west, west to east, Glenstone Avenue to Kansas Expressway, and back again. As a Midwestern take on the 1973 movie American Graffiti, cruising on Kearney Street in 2026 lacks that film's musical soundtrack, but does not lack for revving engines, smoking burnouts at stoplights, and the occasional signs of romance. At least 6 Facebook groups dedicated to cruising Kearney exist, with followers ranging from 32 to 28,000. The pages serve to announce other cruising locations, publicize regional car shows, and assist people looking for advice on repairs or customizing their cars. The gatherings generally occur on weekends, particularly the second Saturday of each month, starting at sunset. Weekday posts feature hundreds of photographs of cars, trucks, and motorcycles of every stripe driving the nearly 3-mile stretch of road. Coincidentally, the Springfield Police Department and the City of Springfield combined efforts on May 4th to promote reporting excessive noise from vehicles. While not specifically directed at cruising, Facebook group members were quick to ridicule. Among the more polite and humorous observations, quote, "On a quiet night, you can hear a dual-motor Tesla taking off from a light at 50 feet. Another post on May 2nd reports that residents and businesses along the Strip, as well as some city officials, are exploring ways to, quote, ban cruising. The post goes on to encourage good behavior and asks people to help keep the area free of trash. Members' responses to the post can be classified as not safe for work. Like all things local, cruising Kearney is viewed by some as having been better back in the day. Whether those better days were pre-COVID, the pandemic put an end to cruising for some, or in the decades between the 70s and the 90s, the memories generated and the friendships established were likely little different from those being made today. Springfield seems to cherish its reputation as a car town. The annual Route 66 Festival's classic car parade is one of the summer's biggest draws. The recent kickoff to the Mother Road Centennial drew thousands of visitors for the better part of 4 days. It remains to be seen whether something as informal and not-for-profit as weekends spent cruising on Kearney will continue for months, if not years, to come. And we'd like to thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.